Welcome to One Man's Tracks. I've already made a video talking about Christian music, comparing sort of good Christian music to bad Christian music, and I figured why not even out the playing field, because I stumbled across a orthodox black metal album. In fact, one of the originators of the whole movement is the band we're going to be talking about today, led by Mika Hakola, aka Belfagor, out of Sweden. He is one of the most devout composers I've come across. He's so committed to his craft that trying to break down the many dimensions of some of his projects proved an impossible task in just a week. When writing, Belfagor enters into a trance-like meditation that allows him to conceive of the incantations that he composes for his band Ofermod, a band that he started after leaving the group Nefandis. He was the drummer for that black metal group, and in '96 he started his own movement intent on spreading a message of insanity and hatred, evil through his music, all while trying to make as many people as miserable as possible along the way. His overwhelming commitment to that ethos finally did catch up to him the year that their debut was set to be released after over 6 years of delays. In March of 2006, he was sent to prison for assault, robbery, and a few other incidents, and ended up stating that the forces of chaos just aren't intent on letting this album come out at that point in time, so he would have to rework it, and another album would eventually take its place. In 2008, they would finally release their first full-length project, teaming up with vocalist and guitarist Johannes Kvanblink, aka Tehom, drummer Samuel Samuelson, and bassist Robin Fjarl, aka Rudra. In 2012, the band would come out with this. Through Spine Farm Records, this is Ofermod's second album, Thaumiel. An album whose name itself is such an incomprehensible description for a layman like myself that I'd actually really appreciate if someone were to make a death metal for dummies webpage that I could browse through and figure out some of the meaning behind all the symbology, all the ritualistic statements that are made here, and just provide a little bit better insight for myself to understand the true depths of this project. That said, I feel like I've stumbled across a fantastic introduction to the genre with this. Sure, I don't understand it enough to fully appreciate this draconian grimoire, but man, does it rip. So intense, raw, brutal. It's the perfect, enthralling, cathartic, energetic release that I need when I'm just frustrated with the general state of just everything in the world. A spellbook filled with a gruesome concoction of blistering strings, disintegrating drum lines, and verbose, obliterating lyricism. I'm just gonna have to jump right into the tracks here. Starting out with the opener, Sisters of Rapture and Pestilence. Immediately, I've got a bit of a sore neck after this almost 8-minute track that starts this album off with me just aggressively shaking my head around, mashing my brain around inside my skull. A track all about self-sacrifice and divine rebirth. I just dig it a lot, and it already has me ready for more. Then Black Gate begins with similar annihilating metallicism, opening up for a minute in the middle, but then blasting back and breaking you down even further, furthering the intensity of the instrumentals that come up on Thaumiel. You've got Calling of Setnach, Twofold Trinity. It also has some of this album's most demonic and guttural vocals yet. The next track, Undead Moon, feels a bit out of place for its slower tempo, but in terms of an ambiance in general, it feels like it fits right in with the rest of the tracks. It's about the mother of lustful insanity, Lilith, and it features a guest vocalist, Nicholas Kvafoth. The track opens up with this Gregorian-esque chanting, and then this heavy drum beat forcefully drags this track along and sort of pulls this meditative metal number through. And it's not really my favorite track on the record, but it is super interesting, and I feel like it is brimming with potential. Now, Prayers Unto Warped Eternities re-engages with more high-intensity sections to open and close the track that all kind of bookend this incoherent middle section of blasted ritualistic chanting. Of course, my favorite track on the album I can't even pronounce. Here goes trying, though. Choka and Sif. That's good enough, I guess. It's an incredible track, really. It's got this relentlessness that builds a suffocating intensity. It has this waters rising feeling that's truly horrifying. I pick up a slight stylistic change in the next track, Chain to Redemption, but they do keep up that unreasonable pace. It does kind of get a little too samey instrumentally as it goes. It kind of drones out, but lyrically it does have some high points and some great themes. I like the pride, divine cycles, the torture through salvation, some really great imagery there. But yeah, in terms of the music, it's just a little bit too samey. It doesn't have that powerful, anxiety-inducing, suffocating feeling that I got in the last track, and this track really just fades away right into the closer. Finishing with one final ritual, Via Noctus Veil of Gagophias, a track that seemingly balances upon the line between life and death, feeling like a plea to the divine to impart the wisdom to know the path across the threshold into the beyond. It feels like they're casting a spell in order to open a portal into an entirely different realm. I'm just enthralled by the mysticism and the ritualistic passion that goes into this project. Wow. Such a fun, intense listen, and I gotta get out there and find some more black metal. They've released 2 albums since Thaumiel, the aforementioned Pentagrammaton in 2020, and in 2017 they released Soul Nox, and following that, their guitarist and vocalist for this album left the group, stating that it was an untoppable masterpiece and he had nothing left to offer the band. Possibly because Ofermod's music comes from such devout, satanic sources that they managed to make their delivery seem both unbridled yet calculated. There's something natural yet unnatural about it. It certainly and clearly struck a chord within me before I can even begin to understand the depths of their dark occultist lore. Totally radical progressive metal music that's introduced me to an entirely new subgenre. Make sure you've left all your death threats down in the comments below. I'll make sure to reply to all of them, as well as leaving me some other radical death and black metal Scandinavian groups to check out down there. Make sure you've liked or disliked the video, and maybe consider subscribing to check out next week's thrift shop throwback. I've got a couple other ones you might like over here, and I don't know, take care and hail the dragon.